Yo, this is Tone Kapone, and you're getting lifted to the sounds of my DJ, DJ Spaceship. Go ahead and beam him up, boy. Let's get him, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him.
Greetings and salutations from us to all the nations. We're about to get loose, strictly for entertainment. We're reppin' Tampa Bay, 10 toes down. It's waves of the bay. No, we ain't playing round. Saturdays from 10 to 12. Make sure you ride the wave. It's Tone Kapone and DJ Spaceship on your airwaves. We're mixing interviews, R&B and hip hop. We're blasting off, and the top is just a pit stop.
This is WMNF 88.5 Tampa. You guys are tuned into Waves of the Bay right now. Make sure you follow us on all social media at Waves of the Bay. I'm Tone Kapone. I got DJ Spaceship in a remote location, and we have a special guest on the phone that we're going to interview tonight. Go ahead and kick it off, Spaceship. Let them know who we got on the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have the one, the only, Angelique Queen Bee.
And the crowd goes wild. Hey, guys.
What's going on, Queen?
Thank you so much for inviting me to be on with you tonight. I'm honored.
Listen,
Thank you for taking time out to talk to us, for real.
Yes, I mean, I know you've been quarantining, and you know, it's every radio is different now. These past 40 days or however many days we've been out of the loop.
Indeed. Yes, I have been broadcasting from home now for 41 days, maybe, I think. 41.
Jeez.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy.
How do you keep your mental together, during this time?
It is what it is. It is what it is. But the blessing is I love what I do. So unfortunately, not being in the building where you're surrounded by people to draw energy from, right. That part is hard, but I do love what I do. So I just conjure that energy up from just my love of what I'm doing and just making sure that I'm doing what I set out to do, which is to uplift, inspire, educate, inform, and of course, entertain.
Absolutely. Now I want to take it back to the beginning. I want you to explain to us the name Queen Bee. I read somewhere that you was given that, from your ancestors in Mumbai, India. Can you break that down for us a little bit?
Okay, so that was when I first got here to Tampa Bay. That was Joe Mama's idea to be tongue-in-cheek. Joe Mama was the program director when I first arrived here in Tampa Bay at 95.7 The Beat. So my mother is in fact from Mumbai, and my dad was in the Marines, and they did meet at the Taj Mahal Hotel at a party, and the rest, as they say, is history. They got married in Jerusalem. My dad had to fight the 7-day war. Thank God it was only 7 days, but he had flown her there. They got married. Then he finished the rest of his tour in Mumbai, and my sister was born there. Then they moved back to the States, to Cincinnati, Ohio, where I'm from. And then I was born, and then my brother. So that part is true. My mother's family is in the upper caste. So that, again, it was tongue in cheek that I was crowned a queen then, but I was.
Yes.
But then as I went on in my career, I was actually named that by my program director, my second program director in Louisville, Kentucky. The station was B96, and they started referring to me as the Queen of B96. That's too long to say every time, so they shortened it to Queen Bee, and it's stuck.
Right. That kind of reminds me when you say that's too long to say. Like, my first DJ name was DJ Lucius Left Foot 3000. And don't laugh.
Tony is shaking his head.
Yeah, this is real.
He knew where it was going because I'm born and raised in Tampa. I'm a huge Outkast fan, but if I had to pick between the two, I'm a more Andre fan. So I was like, okay, I gotta pay homage. I want to pay homage to both of them. So Andre 3000 and then Lucius Left Foot is Big Boy. So when I said that, it was changed at a wedding. That's how I got the name DJ Spaceship, because someone asked me what my DJ name was, and I said that, and it was like, nah. We're gonna compress that down into just Spaceship because you remind me of one of those far out type characters. So that's how I got the name DJ Spaceship, as a matter of fact.
I like it.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'll let y'all know my first name, man. My first name was Pretty Tony. For real. I read Iceberg Slim's book, and thought I was doing some stuff back in high school. I even had Pretty Tony at hotmail.com. It wasn't the one or nothing after. It was the first one, the first Pretty Tony. And I thought I was doing it, boy.
You obviously were.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you also spent some time in Minnesota before you came down here. How did you what was it that made you want to leave the frozen tundra to come down here and get warm and familiar with us down here in the South?
Life. It's funny how life leads you into certain directions. When you put things in the universe and you live in positivity, it just kind of happens. So since I was a child, I have always loved Prince. Always. That was my guy. And
The
when
purple one.
when the opportunity came, and I was offered that job, my dad was like, "You don't know nobody in Minnesota." I was like, "Prince is there. I'm going." So I accepted the job, not knowing anything. I knew I like sports. So I knew they had professional sports teams. I was, all into the Vikings at the time with Dante Culpepper and they was doing big things, Randy Moss, Chris Carter. Yes. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I had known really a lot about the Timberwolves, but I love basketball. So, and they had baseball. I was down with that too. I was like, okay, well, it can't be all bad. And Prince is there. So it ended up being a fantastic experience. I actually had signed for a year, ended up there 12. And I did meet Prince, and I did MC not one, not two, but 3 of his birthdays.
Wow. Now, I would like to ask you about, those parties that you MC, but I'm pretty sure the stories and things that you could talk about can go forever and ever. Prince is, it's no other way to describe it other than Prince Rogers Nelson.
Indeed.
So, it's crazy. Now, even though you transferred from Minnesota, did you transfer your fanhood down here from a Viking to a Buccaneer, from a Twin to a Ray?
Okay, so that's an interesting question because I was never really a Vikings fan. I'm coming to the area. I want to be a part of it. I want to see what's happening. My team was, still is, and always will be the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, all right.
I was born and raised in Cincinnati.
I like that. Unlike Spaceship.
I was born and raised in Cincinnati, so bad times, good times, and most of them have been bad. I'm always checking on my Bengals, but in each city I've gone to, I've enjoyed just diving into the culture of whatever's happening in the city. I am for 95.7 The Beat and I Heart Tampa. I am the ambassador chosen by each team for the Rays, the Bucks, and the Lightning. And again, I'm a sports fan. So, and this year it's going to be really, really exciting here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously. So
with the Tampa Bay Bucks, as they're calling them.
So of course I'm wrapped up in the excitement, but on the other side, I still want the Bengals to do well.
Okay.
They're getting Joe Burrow, so they're not. They're expected to do well too.
That's a big wish right there.
I think they'll do well. I've seen that recently that AJ Green reached out to Joe Burrow to try to get on the same page to work out with him. So that's a good start.
That's a great start.
That's a great start so far now.
And he's been injured. He ain't injured no more. So
he's ready. I think I'm not gonna say. I don't want to say it too soon, but I think this will be a good start for you, like you guys.
I do too.
Now, as well, I also know that you're a parent, so I want to give you Happy Mother's Day as well.
Thank you.
I had the pleasure of meeting your daughter, and I talked a little trash, and I found out she's very competitive too. She plays basketball herself.
Yes.
What team does she currently play for?
So that is my favorite subject. The whole interview could be about my baby angel sweetheart. She has played in Iceland, Finland, Romania, the Czech Republic, and the last team she played for was in Angola. This season, which would have started for her in October, she did not play this season. And I'm thrilled because of obviously what happened with the coronavirus pandemic.
Right.
But she was asked to walk in a fashion show. To make a very long story short, I have been asking her for forever, since she was a baby child.
Right.
You're beautiful. You could do this. Mom, I'm an athlete. I'm not a model. I'm an athlete. So finally, somebody convinced her to walk in this fashion show. She did. Who knew it was the kickoff of LA Fashion Week? So in January, she moved to LA and got invited to create all kind of parties, to style people. She got involved in styling, modeling, designing, and she styled artists for Rolling Loud, the Grammys, and the Oscars. From that, she networked, met some folks, and before the coronavirus pandemic, she was asked if she wanted to take part in audition for a national campaign. She did. Her very first audition, she landed it, and you will now see her in the current Muscle Milk commercial.
That's what's up, man.
Let's make some noise for that one, because the last time I
For
seen
real.
her, I think I seen her post a video on Instagram at the time of her dunking, and I walked up to her. This is when you and I were working together at Green Gators, and I said to her just jokingly, it's like, you will never dunk over me, and she just looked at me like, she gave me the height check look first of all, because she, you know, got a little bit taller than me. You know, it's not, you know, that must be taller than me, but she gave me the height check look like. I was like, okay, you know, it's just playing around and stuff like that. So yeah,
this young lady of very few words. She's one of those, I can show you better than I can tell you.
She's about that action, boss.
If I'm not mistaken, that might have been what she said to me. And so I just walked away towards Pat B and was like, I think she's gonna kill me, man. I don't know what to do, man. I think she's gonna kill me.
Dunk you like an Oreo, bro.
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I mean, that's Queens, though. And I don't want no smoke with neither one of them.
Aww.
I agree with you. You ain't got to worry about them. You got to worry about the people under them. See, they find ways. But no, I actually had a question for you, because I'm from the Midwest as well. So coming from Cincinnati, like, how did you even get involved with music and get into broadcasting and all that too?
Well, I actually started, I've always been a news buff. I enjoy watching the news, see what's going on in the world. And as a child even, I would watch 60 Minutes. Love me some Diane Sawyer. But as I got older, I always knew that I was gonna have a job talking, and I thought it was gonna be doing news. But as I got older, I didn't necessarily like the way news was presented. So I was like, and the whole bias thing,
right?
You're only as unbiased as you are in life, period. So to say that you're just things bothered me. And since I don't own a news station, I was like, you know what? I probably need to try and see what else is good. Right. Well, at the same time, the radio station in Cincinnati was like, there's a new girl on the TV. Let's see if she'll come up here and talk to us on the radio. Meanwhile, my dad had already dropped off a tape eons ago to this station. And so to make a long story short, I'll be saying that a lot in this interview because I got stories. The radio station offered that I could come and talk to the morning show to do the news. This is when radio did news too. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I used to cover school board, city council meetings, fires. We did news, like we covered stuff. Like, tell me what you think about this with the mic in your hand. So the radio station morning show host used to mess with me after I did the newscast. They would mess with me and I would come right back. So the program director was like, you know what? You're not the news girl. I was like, I'm not? He was like, no. What do you mean? He was like, you're a personality. We want to offer you a job. So I was like, there it is. So there started my first job in radio in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1992. And then that flowed into a job opportunity. My company bought up some stations, Indianapolis, Columbus, Louisville, West Virginia. And they asked me where I wanted to go. And so I went to Louisville. And I was there for 3 years when I was offered the job. I did the morning show there, which ended up being the most successful #1 rated morning show. So in a quick 3 years, I was offered a job in Minneapolis, and I took it.
Major difference right there. I've been to the Ville. I actually spent the 4th of July out there. This is like 04. This is probably about like 04. I was still in college at the time. Yeah. And I had a good time out there, man. I can't say it correctly, so I call it the Ville.
Louisville.
Yeah, I can't. Right. I ain't even gonna try it.
Yes, that's a basketball town with University of Kentucky, and of course, University of Louisville Cardinals. They are about it. And Derby, of course, is always a good look.
And I went to the Derby when I was there.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, yo. But
good time.
Yeah, man. It really was. And like I said, I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Kansas City at the same time. So Louisville was like, see, and I just messed it up. But yeah, it was it was very familiar, like with Kansas City though.
Yeah.
But no, I want to know, like, been out here, like you are pretty much like the focal point of the radio station. You're an ambassador. You're like an icon out here. So I want to know, like, coming from like major radio and looking at the Tampa Bay music scene, like, are there any artists out here that you are a fan of that's still on the come up?
I enjoy Tom G. I enjoy the Cheeks Boss Man. I've just really recently been learning about him. There was a battle thing that happened on Instagram. And so I was checking out artists that I hadn't seen before and some that I have seen. Priceless Scott, the young lady, I like her.
Yeah,
Priceless is nice.
Yeah. So there's several, Rod Wave. There's several artists that I like.
Rod
I
Wave's
like the
making
grind
mad
though. I like
noise.
that they're out here and they're trying to get their music out here, and they're not. They're doing it so authentically. You know, they're in the street, they're in the clubs. They're in. I can appreciate that.
right.
And that's another thing I actually wanted to ask you about, because some of these artists are not taking those steps. So you're naming some artists that are actually like really about their business. They have their paperwork correct, ASCAP or BMI, whatever the case may be. But for these other artists out there that's trying to get radio play or trying to get on or trying to get at you, like, what would be some type of suggestion that you would give to them?
Work your plan, or plan your work and work your plan. You have to make a plan on what you're trying to do, and then you have to work that plan. It's how bad do you want it? Back in college, they specifically told us in one of my communications classes, the professor said, look around, only a couple y'all gonna have a job. It's 30 people in the room.
Right.
So I'm looking at them like, he's definitely talking to me. I don't know what y'all about to do, but I know I'm about to have a job because I'm not going to stop. Yes, I was not influenced. I was not discouraged by the no. Okay, well, let me go see who's gonna say yes. And I'm talking 100 resumes I mailed out before I got a response. 100. And this is when you licking the envelope, feeling sick because you done got all the glue stuff in your mouth. I mean, and nowadays, everything is computerized. You have no reason not to, if you're serious and that's what you really want to do and that's where your passion is, that's what you should be doing. I'm not discouraged people from making sure they have a job that's going to pay some money, something. Even back in the day, I remember when Nelly came out and he said that he worked at McDonald's till he got his record deal. You do have to be practical, you know what I mean? But if your passion is in music and that's what you want, I've never felt that like I've worked a day in my life. This is not a job. This is my passion. And by the grace of God, I get paid for it. So if artists are serious and this is their passion, that's what they need to do. They need to pour themselves into that. You can't, you have to be hungry. You got to make it happen.
And I myself, you know, as being a DJ, you know, when I first started DJing, I used to just do house parties. And then I started doing clubs, and then I started doing events, you know, with local artists, with independent artists in the Bay Area with Tone. And I've gotten to points when I just was like, it was nights at Green Gators when me and Galaxy would be like, and we would, you know, lean on one another to continue to go forward. So have you ever gotten to a point that you felt that, you know, maybe radio, I want to, you know, step away from it, or, you know, maybe this is not it?
Absolutely. In Cincinnati, my first job, I got divorced when my daughter was 2 and separated before that because I knew, okay, we're not on the same page. I thought we were on the same page, but I can see now we are not on the same page. And I got things I want to do. And I can't stop this role that I'm on. It ain't even really a role. I just got this job. And I know it's gonna happen. I gotta make it happen. Meanwhile, it's me and my baby. I'm divorced. I'm making $16,000 a year. They said I made too much for food stamps. I made too much for assistance. $16,000 a year. Apartment, car, insurance, groceries, baby, lights, food. Like,
that's pretty much it.
There was a lot of times when I was like, I just can't do this. I have to do something else because I'm not going to be able to keep a roof over our heads. I'm not. Right. But again, I love what I do. So I'm like, something's got to give here. I got to work harder. I got to do. So what ended up happening was I was the news girl. Again, I'm just coming into radio, but I was doing interviews, not only City Hall and school board. I love sports. So I was cool with a couple Bengals players. One of them said, hey, will you MC this party for me? During the party, I think I want to do a little black dress contest and give away some money or something. Sure. So when I took the stage, everybody's like, who is that? Again, now we're in a party. So I made money for that party. I realized, So now I'm on the radio. I'm not doing news anymore because when you're doing news, you're not credible if you do parties. Nobody's ever going to ask you to do a nightclub when you're a news reporter. So now I'm in radio. They're asking me to MC parties. They're asking me to host this fashion show. They're saying, will you come to this and speak to this brunch event? And they're paying me for it. So I was like, okay. So I got the radio station. That's set. That's what I'm going to get there. So I'm going to have to go over here and hustle to do more. And so every city I've been in, it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. Now here in Tampa Bay, I do commercials for car companies and insurance companies and whatever. Parties still. I still host concerts and parties and happy hours and brunches and whatever. But you just have to branch off into different things within your realm of what your passion is.
Gotcha. Now, how do you, because doing what you do, like, you know, the people, I was always told by my mentor, the people you start with standing next to you left and right are not going to always be the people that are going to make it to the next step with you, because eventually sometimes people give up on you, or they give up on your dream, or it just doesn't come the way that they see it. How do you handle situations? Yeah, they're not as passionate about it as you are.
Right.
How do you handle scenarios when you have people that started with you, got away from you, and now they see that you've gotten to a certain level, now they want to reemerge and, you know, make themselves visible again? Like, how do you handle those type of scenarios?
Well, for every relationship, business-wise or personal, there's a reason and a season. So that person that was in your life, they were there for a reason. And obviously they're not there for a reason. I don't feel that you should ever burn any bridges or cut anybody off. If someone's coming back in your life, you can let them back in your life. But to what degree is up to you. I wouldn't mess up anything I currently have going on to re-welcome someone back in my life, but I would definitely let them know I appreciate what we did and what part you played in me coming up. And I respect that, and I always will. But I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me nothing. Right.
So you did mention about doing interviews and stuff like that, transition, you know, when you're doing the news and stuff like that in Louisville. Did I say that right? Louisville? I got it. And I'm not from the Midwest, I'm from the South. If you can have, who would be your dream interview? Like, what person would be your dream interview of someone for you to have a one-on-one for you to interview?
Yes, well, that dream came true, and it happened in Tampa, and it was Barack Obama. And I mentioned to him, I told him the only person that I would be more excited to talk to you would be your wife. And she called me 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I was actually going to ask you about that too.
Yes.
Was there anything that you did not get to ask them that you wanted to?
Actually, I got to say what I wanted to say. I knew that our time was limited. They told me we had 5 minutes, and he gave me 11. And right before we hung up, I said, I just want to mention to you that I'm a basketball fan, and every time you do your brackets for March Madness, you don't never pick the University of Miami, and my baby plays for the University of Miami. So he said,
she definitely did.
So he gave her a shout out and said, Ray, maybe one day we can play together, play some horse or something. And I said, you didn't say your name. And he said, everybody knows my voice. So and I took that clip and I sent it to her.
Yeah, I know she was geeked out about that. I do remember she did come from University of Miami.
That's 5th ranked point guard in the country. Could have signed anywhere, and she chose the U.
Yeah, I can't put that up. The U that I represent is up in Georgia. We ain't doing too good, but it's UGA. But you know, that's what it is right there.
The University of Minnesota also goes by the U, and when it was on the front page of the sports paper there, it said McGuire chooses the U, comma, the other one.
That's kind of like Miami up in Ohio. Miami,
correct.
Ohio, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know that until I started looking into colleges and stuff, because I had scholarships to go to University of Georgia, Florida State. I played football and I ran track at the same time, but got into a car accident, and you know, my path changed dramatically. Like radio was not something that I envisioned myself doing. You know, it wasn't. That's just not what I was thinking. So it's like now to see myself doing radio in the city that I was born and raised in.
Yes.
You know, it's surreal to me. Like it takes me back. I have to look at it sometimes. Like, dang, like doing radio in the city I was born in.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
I wish I had that feeling, man, but I love doing it in Tampa, man. Pause, but at the same time on that comment. But I love
Absolutely.
Tampa. I've been here for 13, 14 years, man. So the fact that we're on 88.5 and, I know we have bigger aspirations to keep on moving up too. But man, this is an honor, right? Even just talking to you right now is an honor on the Zoom.
It's fantastic. I mean, like I said, I'm honored to even be asked to talk to y'all. But yes, it's. I love Tampa Bay too. By the way, I love it. I love it. I never want to be cold again. The weather is wonderful.
Right.
You sound like
Waves of the Bay, episode 27. Of course, everybody that's from up there knows what it is.
When you have felt 30 below, then you know.
And Minnesota's colder than Kansas, so
yes, 30 below.
I haven't gotten to 30 below. I used to live in New York, but I know. Oh, yeah. I don't think there's a state in the continental U.S. that can compete with you guys, with Minnesota when it comes to that winter weather. It's just
ridiculous.
It's different kind of like my sister.
Polar vortexes and stuff.
Yes.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, when I first moved to New York, they said a wind chill. I had never heard of that. Didn't know anything about it. I was living in North Carolina at Camp Lejeune, the Marine base there, as a matter of fact. And I had no idea what a wind chill was until I got to Queens, New York. And I learned quick and I learned fast. And it was a different type of cold.
It's nothing to play with. Yes, it's a different type of cold. It's a different, that's 100% correct. But I can't take anything away from the Twin Cities, the St. Peasy, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I love it, except for the wintertime.
You sound like my sister now because she's up there in the Minneapolis, St. Paul. She was like, nah, she wants to be a snowbird now.
Mm. And I love the winter fashions, and I love the coats and all that, and this
the boots,
pretty snow. It's so pretty for a good 2 days, and then it's like, okay, I'm over it.
Right. Now I do know one thing about you, that you're a huge R&B fan. Vivian Green, Get Back Right. Of today's R&B singers, is there any R&B singers, the new R&B singers out now that's like really has your attention?
Her. Okay. I love her. SZA, I like her. I like her a lot. Jhené Aiko,
right?
Yeah, those are my top three as far as new artists. They are R&B. I love them.
That new Jhené album is awesome.
And I'm really starting to get into Summer Walker. I enjoyed her album tremendously.
Summer Walker got an amazing voice, yo.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Summer Walker has like a different type of vibe to it, but her is a good one. Division is another one that I've gotten into recently. His album is pretty dope.
Okay.
Is that how you say it?
Division. I'm from the South, so don't you trying to criticize me for that.
No, you got to think of what I'm seeing. Davidson. I'm like, is Division? I'm all the way off with it, man. I promise you.
We might have to phone a friend on that one. Queen, maybe you can help us out with that.
Right. We didn't get that together before the show. We called a friend.
Right. Now, if your life was on film, would you rather it be a documentary or just a full out film, like a full movie? And who would you get to play Queen?
Oh, wow.
So it's like a 2-part question. Would you want it to be a documentary or like a docuseries, or would you want it to be a full-length film? And who's going to play Queen?
I think a docuseries, because then you can get different parts, different aspects. Because like for instance, The Last Dance. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, how good is that? The way telling the story, and they're going back, and then they're coming back, and so probably a docuseries. And who would play me?
She got to be cute.
Yeah. Besides,
that's a great question, Ship.
Besides my daughter, my daughter, she really couldn't play me because she's way too beautiful, and she's taller and lighter and super tatted. So,
well, with today's technology, they can cover the tattoos. Camera angles can, change the height a little bit. She definitely has the eyes, and we can, think they could figure something like that out.
Yeah. So I'm not sure on that. I definitely never thought about that before. I'd have to put some thought into that.
Right. So outside of your daughter, and outside of rolling the dice on yourself with radio, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment that you look at and say, I'm so proud of myself for that?
Oh my gosh. I think personally, just learning how to let things go and live in the moment. I think that's what I don't know if you were talking about an accomplishment, because obviously you said not my daughter, because that's what I was going to say.
I knew that. I already knew.
My everything. Radio. Period.
Yes, I got a radio and your daughter's number one.
Yes.
I had to cut you at the beginning.
But I feel like, I've grown when I realized someone actually asked me, like, I've never seen you have a bad day. You're always happy. You're always like, and I said, well, I learned something. And when I realized that I learned this, and that's what was the source, the root of my happiness, I was like, I've grown as a person. Right. I just learned that if you don't expect anything from someone, you can never be disappointed. I don't expect it. Like, even from the simplest, oh, she didn't speak to me. Maybe she's having a bad day. Maybe that has nothing to do with me. So I've just learned from the smallest to the biggest situations to just live in the moment, live and let go and let God.
I definitely agree. Now, so everybody has to have someone to lean on. They have to have some outlet. Who would you say, like, who's your mentor?
My dad. I'm a family girl, so I just talked to my sister a little bit ago. Yesterday, I was on a FaceTime call, or the house party with my sister and my two nieces, her daughters. The day before that, it was me and my daughter. Earlier today, it was my dad and his wife. Right. And earlier today, my brother. I talked to him for a while to surprise my sister for something for Mother's Day, a gift we hooked up for her. So I'm very family oriented. We moved together. My mother has passed on. My dad did get remarried 8 years ago. My mother's been gone for 12 years. But we did everything together, the five of us. We had movie nights on Friday. We went to the theater together. We had pizza night. We had, on weekends when we were growing up, we would like, now everybody's getting back to life and getting back to the basics. Obviously, right. We didn't have computer and internet, but the stuff we did on the weekends, people thought we were corny. But we would literally, me, my brother, and my sister, make invitations, invite my parents to the show that was going to happen in the basement at 8:00. And somebody would sing, somebody would dance, somebody would tell jokes, or whatever the show consisted of that day. And they would come down, they would be entertained for this show. And then we go back upstairs and have dessert or a snack. You know, that was the after hour dessert or the after show dessert. And that was fun to us. When we wanted to go somewhere, I'd be like, well, can we go over so-and-so house? My dad was like, you got a brother and a sister, go play with them.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was for us growing up. I remember back when they had Blockbuster. Bruce Lee had the movies, and Bruce Lee was doing this thing. So what we would do is go to my uncle's house, and everybody would watch the movie. And then after that, it's boys versus the girls, karate fights and all that. Until somebody breaks a window or something, and then everybody get it. We all get our whippings and stuff. But yeah, I remember those days, and it's like with this whole quarantine time, it's kind of put people to, it's kind of shown, at least it's shown me the importance of family, and learning just different stuff and taking this stuff. Like, I've challenged myself. I've been trying to do this 30-day ab challenge for like 2 years, and I finally successfully completed it last month in April. So I mean,
what is that? What's the chat? What is it?
So the 30-day ab challenge, I'll send it to you.
The ab challenge. Okay.
Yeah.
He's trying to get summertime fine with it.
Listen, I gotta get somebody's attention out here. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want to be the guy that's big up top and small down low. So I gotta
pause.
Listen,
that didn't come out right at all. That didn't.
I want to make sure the whole body looks right. If that makes any sense. That sounds better than.
Yes, it does. It does. It just.
It just consists of planks, sit-ups, crunches, and leg raises.
Woo!
And yeah. It's the same 4 exercises. You do it every 4 days, you get a break. But looking at day 1 and the day 30, it increases every day.
Okay.
But the gym, going to the gym and going to radio, making mixes is my release to help me with my stress. And unfortunately, both of them we can't get to at the moment, so I have to make do with what I can. And
that's right.
So it's just been a journey as in a whole.
Agreed.
It's like a reset button for everybody, man. Like, especially like the city folks. Like, everybody's been used to all this technology and all this stuff. Like, this takes me back to like 1980 Kansas almost, man. Like, we're on the weekends, we're all just kicking it. You know, weekdays we're all just trying to survive and get by. Like, it's like survival right now, man. Like, and if you don't love your family, I feel sorry for you because you're stuck right now, man.
I know.
Yeah. Lord. A lot of people finding out that Bay is not really Bay.
Oh, and I feel, but hey, somebody show love to the side chicks, man. Right now, they gotta be lonely for real, though. Like, ain't nobody sneaking out to see them right now.
Well, some people. What's your? I read recently that Earl Thomas, I think it was.
You're right.
Earl Thomas did that.
He's just a hot mess and a half.
Yeah.
That's terrible. So he and his brother, real fast for those that don't know, he and his brother had some type of orgy on Easter, left their wives. I don't know if one of the brothers is married or not, but it was assuming it's his girlfriend. But the football player is married, the NFL player. And his wife called the other girl like, I done found his location on the Snapchat. Let's hit it. Now I'm like, especially with today's modern technology, men are just idiots. I'm sorry.
A lot of them just not thinking. I mean, because I was reading that too.
You so ready to get down to the dirty
You're gonna get caught.
Dirt that you not. And on Easter, one of the holiest days of the year, on Easter, you're with in the same bed with two chicks and your brother, and you're busted by your wife and your brother's girlfriend or wife.
It was definitely holy. It was definitely holy. Literally.
That
prayers
is just,
going up for real.
I'm just outdone. Like, they have children, they have families. Like, what are their parents thinking? I would be mortified. Like, what the is wrong with you?
Right.
And it's on the TMZ.
It's in social media, so there's nothing you can hide. Everybody has a camera. You know, it's like, just think about if they had social media back in the late 80s, early 90s.
You're gonna get caught, man. People don't understand, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, I have another question for you that I've always been curious about, and I've been meaning to ask you this. It's not a crazy one, but you have a very, very unique voice. How do you manage to keep your voice? I'm pretty sure you get sick and you have your moments. Like, how do you manage all of
that? I don't know. I drink lots of water, but I'm not a singer or anything. Singers have, I guess, regimens to take care of their voices. I can't sing. I can't carry a tune if it was attached to my back. But I guess just normal things. I'm not doing anything terrible to my voice, so I guess through the years, my voice has gotten deeper though. I have noticed that. My college friends tell me that all the time. Like, you didn't sound like that in class. But I do know that I used to be very wispy because one of my instructors was like, why do you keep breathing like that? I was like, what do you mean? She was like, you keep talking like this. Like, what do you think you are, Marilyn Monroe? And I was like, was I doing that? So I didn't know I was doing that. I think I just didn't have my breath together.
Right, your job path would have been a different direction. It would have been like 1-900,
man,
like $3.99 an hour or a minute or something like that. Yeah.
This is Waves of the Bay, episode 27. We're talking to Miss Angelique Queen B right now, man. Right here on everybody tune in. I hope you guys are appreciating what we're doing right here. We got a true icon, like I said, man. You're a focal point of Tampa Bay. Like when stuff gets cracking here, like when Super Bowl time, I know you about to be super busy.
Thank you.
I know they already recruiting. They already trying to get you, I'm sure. But one thing I do want to know, like, I'm a host myself, so like when I go out places, I like to study, other hosts, what they're doing, how they attack things. So when you're out there hosting like an event, not like just a radio, but when you're out there hosting an event, like, what is your mindset? How do you go about it?
My mindset is to take the people through a journey for that event. I am not the star. I am I am trying to get you ready, get you hyped for the focal point of this event. I try not to interfere with what's happening, but rather be a part of it, and not take over unless they need me to, but just to make sure everything flows properly.
Do you remember any time where an event just went left and you had to kind of adjust?
Many. Well, early on, a fashion show, and it recently happened again a couple years ago, and they didn't have anything. They didn't have like who was coming out, what they're doing, and I'm just like, what is this?
Tone, that sounds too familiar.
Right. Man. So, but I was like, okay, that's fine. what I did was I focused on the model and how they were working the outfit opposed to the outfit, because I don't know that much about the outfit except for what I can see. And again, you don't want to take away from what's happening. The star of the fashion show is supposed to be the clothes. So I decided, well, it would be best to play some hot tracks, change the music or whatever. When we practice to walk to this, you don't have anything together. So it's not like you're doing routines. We're going to play some stuff that's hot, that's going to get people encouraged. So I'm telling the DJ, we're going to play this one instead. We're going to play this one instead. And plus, when you're in this business, you know, as a DJ, you know, okay, well, I need to change the tempo because they're not feeling this. Oh, they're dancing to this. So the same thing with happened with the fashion show, because I understand what my DJs do. So I'm like, okay. And then as the models come out, oh, you better work it, girl. She looks good. Look at her turn. Look at that, how that skirt moves as she turns. Well, I don't know shit about the skirt. Who did it? Who made it? I don't know nothing. I just know that she look good. And see, it could look that good on you when you move. All you got to do is so fashions. So, and again, rather than get upset about what's not done, the people really don't know. They don't know what's on the cue
Spaceship
card.
this.
They have no idea what the cue cards say. They have no idea. So whatever I say is what it is.
This is true.
I tell you this all the time, Ship, and anybody else out there listening that's hosting or doing events, stay calm.
Yes.
Stay chill, because the audience don't know what they don't know. Straight up, man.
They don't know. And they can see if you're nervous or upset or if you're frazzled. They see all of that. All of that.
You can't hide that.
But I will admit that I definitely told them, okay, I have no cue cards, but we gonna make this happen. And then people seem to like that. They get encouraged when you're like, oh, she gonna make it happen anyway.
Yeah.
That's how you gain fans.
I've never seen Queen sweat a day since I've known.
She probably don't even sweat when she working out, man. That's a cool cat right there.
I've never
I perspire.
Yes. It's like she has, like, I don't know, like Queen, I've never seen her sweat or anything, you know, from her hosting in the clubs, whether it's a live remote, meeting people. Like, I've never seen Queen off of her star at all. Like, Queen is always Queen. She's always Queen. She's courteous.
Because I get so excited. You used to see that. I get so excited when people are excited that they're seeing me. I'm like, you're excited about me? Well, let's take a picture. Give me a hug.
Yeah, I used to. What used to happen a lot, you know, DJing at the club, and you being a lot of people, you know, where's Queen? Where's Queen? I'm like, well, let me look in my pocket. And you would pop up somewhere, and there used to be a lot of times, I never told you this, but a lot of times people would be afraid to come to you, and they'll find me and see, oh, he's jumping off the stage. You know, can I talk to Queen? I'm like, I don't know, can you? And they would just go up to you. But my mom was one of the people that met you, and she loved you. She fell in love with you. She loved Queen Bee. So when I told her that I was, you know, we were interviewing you today, she was like, make sure you tell her I said Happy Mother's Day and that she says hello. So I wanted to make sure I did.
Please tell her I said Happy Mother's Day as well.
Note to make sure I tell you that, because when she hears this and she doesn't hear me say that, she probably will kill me. But I want to make sure
that's so sweet.
I told you that. Yeah, my mom loves Queen Bee, man.
Thank you.
Can't say nothing about the Queen, man.
Thank you
Tampa
so much.
Bay loves Queen Bee. Honestly,
you guys are making me blush. What in the world?
That's what we're here for. But it's the truth, though. You already know this. I know you're humble, but you can't be that humble. You know Tampa Bay loves you.
I mean, that's a blessing.
You're everywhere. Anything that's Tampa Bay related, hey, where's Queen at?
I had to do a presentation to iHeart. This was something we've been knowing about for the sales department. It's called a spotlight meeting. And in that meeting, to tell them who I was. They already know. But again, this is something each station had to do to get everybody charged up about how to present us to the public, advertisers, and so forth. And in that rap that I wrote them to tell them who I was, in there, it does say that this is my home. This is where I live. This is where I work. This is where I pray. This is where I play. It's a part of me. It is what it is.
Right.
I ain't going nowhere.
Now, and I pray that you don't, because I'll be all kinds of upset. I'm just letting you know. But recently there was some shakeups there at the station. And, you know, of course, in this business, you know, the radio industry, you know, things change up, you know, some people are in, some people are out. How did that affect you? Like, did it have any effect on you at all?
It sucks. It has a huge effect on me, because the people that I work with, they have become family to me. And
right.
Of course, I called them all And they were just like, oh man, Queen, you're such a class act. That's crazy. You called. And I was like, but outside of the station, I've come to your birthday parties, come to your child's the baby shower, the first birthday party. I've come to a sweet 16 party for your child. I've come to, like, I'm outside of the station. I know you.
Right.
And so we're still going to be that. Although we're not with this company, we're still going to be that. And unfortunately, that's business, but our relationship has nothing to do with business outside of this station.
Right. And you've been with iHeart since 2011, right?
Yes.
What has been your favorite part about being in the Bay Area since you've been here? Like, what has been your highlight of being here in the Bay Area?
Now calling it home. But I have to admit that the highlight of being in Tampa Bay is actually being close to my family that is up the way. My sister and her husband live in Waterford Lakes. My dad and his wife live in Oviedo. My brother lives in Oviedo. So my favorite part of being in Tampa Bay is being so close to my family. When I was in Minneapolis, my sister and her husband, they were in England. And then they were in Canada for a couple years. And then they came to Orlando. When my mother passed, my dad retired and he moved to Orlando area. Then my brother was like, well, if he in Orlando, why am I still in Cincinnati? I'm going to Orlando area. And then my daughter, again, when she had her choice of where to sign, all of her official visits were on the coast. It was Florida, Texas, California, Minnesota, and Rutgers, New York, New Jersey. So when she ended up choosing Florida, and I believe that's because her family was there.
Yeah, and it's definitely a climate.
And then, of course, then I was like, why am I in Minneapolis by myself?
Time to go.
Yeah.
Time to go.
And actually, it was time to go because the Lord works in mysterious ways. The year that my daughter was graduating, trying to choose a college, the station that I was at, which was also B96, like the Louisville station, folded. They flipped formats after 10 years. They decided that they wanted to try to pop because the owners, we were Blue Chip Broadcasting. Blue Chip sold to Radio One. So we were no longer Radio One. Radio One sold us to the owners of the Minnesota Twins. Right. And Minnesota Twins, they do a lot of business. They do PepsiCo, Marquette Financial. They have a lot of different businesses, but they didn't have radio. So they decided, well, we're business people and we know that if we flip it, we could do even better than we are with hip hop. Unfortunately, that was not the case because we were when I got to Minnesota in hip hop in 2000, there was no hip hop in Minnesota.
Right.
In 2000. So obviously we hit the air. It was pandemonium. It was everybody wanted to get in on this excitement. They got hip hop on FM radio in Minneapolis. That's crazy, 2000. So by the time we hit 2010 and we have these new owners, they were like, we're going to try something new. So they tried it, they flipped it. But at the same time, that's all of my life was leading me to Florida. So I was like,
you got out just in time.
Such a blessing. No, the station
timing
flipped.
Is everything, yo.
Yeah,
timing is everything.
So I didn't have a choice. But that's how it was supposed to be. That's what was supposed to happen.
Some things are just inevitable, and it like you said, it all panned out. Your daughter's here, your brother's here, pops, everybody is down here instead of you being all the way. But now your daughter, she still lives here. She's gonna be out on the West Coast a lot. She
moved to LA in January.
Okay, yeah.
So that is her home now. So she's living there and making it happen. She's walked in several fashion shows. She's been to many an event, and like I said, she just her first commercial now is airing.
That's crazy, like to make that transition from basketball to modeling, like that.
Right.
That's a
basketball still in her though. Her agent called me the other day and said, I don't know if Ray should be trying to play in this summer league in LA. And I was like, you can't tell her not to play ball. She'd go crazy.
Yeah, you can't.
So she was like, I gotta stay. I said, you're gonna play in the summer league? She's like, yeah, I gotta stay in shape. Oh, so you're going back overseas? I don't know, I might. I'm like,
well, maybe
overseas and model. You can overseas get paid to hoop and get modeling jobs at the same time. Like
right. I just love that she's fearless. Just do it. Just do it.
Take a chance. Take a chance while you got the chance.
And she's always like, well, you weren't afraid to do what you had. I was like, I was terrified. But I was more afraid to not feed you than I was of failing at this radio thing. So fear, I didn't have time to be afraid.
Right, but you never showed her, like I said, she never saw you sweat.
No.
She never saw you sweat.
Mm-mm.
Well, at least you went.
That's something to be said, man.
Yeah,
just like a mother, just like a parent.
No, she remembers back in the day being on my hip for election returns. And you know, for election returns, it's late. It's 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'm still waiting for the winner. She on my hip in a little dress. I'm holding the mic like, how you feel? You finally pulled it out. And then I got to go to the station, cut up the tape to make sure that it's ready for the morning show.
Yeah.
And
you definitely had your hands full in that, but you never let anything get in your way to stop you from getting to where you knew you wanted to be.
No.
A lot of people just one little small thing, the light goes out, they sell the whole house. Some people just change the bulb and keep watching TV, but some people throw away the whole house because the bulb blowed out. So
right.
That's that passion we talking about, man. If you got a conviction about what you're trying to do, ain't nothing gonna get in your way. And I definitely see that out of you. This is Waves of the Bay, episode 27. We're still talking with Miss Angelique Queen B, having a good time, just chopping it up, man. But I want to know, I got a few good questions for you here. For one, I want to know, like, how has being a lady in this industry helped you or hindered you when you're trying to navigate?
It's definitely been a challenge because I am the only female on the air at the beat. Again, I was the only female at B96. That's why they call me the queen of B96. In Minneapolis, I was the only female. Then they got a female on the morning show. I did middays in Minneapolis. And then they had a female on that group show. But every station I've been at, I've been the only. That's not true. In Louisville, there was a young lady then in middays that did middays. But a lot of the times, we are the only one, or one of two. And so it is a male-dominated business. And I do with that whole Me Too movement, I thank God that none of that thing like that ever happened to me, because I would have been shocked. And if it did happen to me, I would have been oblivious. Maybe it did. I don't know. Because I was very quick to let you know that's not what it's about, bro. We not
Queen B will sting.
No, I did have.
I don't want those problems.
Years ago, an upper echelon management person was in town, and I got a message on a yellow sticky note, and it said, "Pick up so and so at the airport." Again, I'm a part-time news reporter, new at the radio station. Right. Why in the hell would y'all want me to go pick this person up? And they said, well, he requested you. Okay, well, I'm not a driver. I'm not the valet. I don't have gas in my car to go get this dude. Y'all only paying me $16. That's not gonna happen. I'm not going. So later on, somebody came and said, you're not going? No. Well, later on in the afternoon, I saw the gentleman. How you doing? Oh, it's so nice to see you. How was your flight? So glad you're here. Went back to my work. Later on, somebody came and said, what did they say to you for not going to get him? I said, nothing. Obviously, it's cool. Somebody got him. So I have no idea what was said. I have no idea what was discussed. I have no idea. And as I thought about that later, I was like, what just happened?
Sounds kind of suspect, right?
There was a gentleman that I walked into an establishment and I knew him well. And when I got there, DJ Chase or Shizm, one of the two, was there. And we were standing there, and the guy, he kind of looked at me and he licked his lips and he was like, Queen, you looking good. And I said, did you just Harvey Weinstein me? And they started laughing. And I walked away. He walked away. Later on, he came and said, I really wasn't trying to offend you. That's my bad. And I said, oh, no, you're good. But women don't like that. You're allowed to think that. You're allowed to think in your head whatever you want, but that's none of my business. So you don't have to be licking your lips and all that to me, because for me, it's grossing me out.
Yeah, it's different if the guy has that kind of relationship with that woman, but even still in public, you have to be mindful where you are and when you're doing that, because someone else can see it and take that as that's how she get down, or anybody can do that. So
I'm just like, it's weird. It's just weird. And again, some men, I don't think they mean to be chauvinistic or whatever. They're just ignorant to the fact that that's not cute, it's not acceptable, and it's not appropriate. So I think,
or they don't have any game. Maybe they have the old school game where that was.
Or they're gameless.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, so in overcoming that, I think it's just important to be, you know, strong and confident in who you are and your abilities, and don't go for the bull. I was gonna say bull, but I don't want to keep cussing. But yeah, don't go for the bull. Don't accept that. That's not acceptable.
Right. Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you on that one. I mean, you have to, and for me, I think for a person that can't speak to someone beyond just commenting their physical appearance, if you can't talk to someone intellectually, it also shows where you are as well. And you know, like I tell people all the time, like we did the no cursing challenge, because you know you have rappers, most rappers curse.
Yeah.
But then we did the challenge. Can you make a song without cursing and it be dope at the same time? Like Rakim doesn't curse.
Right.
Method Man latest music, he not cursing. Everybody is, you know, this bum, that bum, and they talking about, you know, the female body. Can you make a song that's dope with a message and it still jam at the same time?
Right.
So,
and I think it can be done. I think that can be done, but
it can definitely be done. It can definitely be.
But
We've seen it done.
But I don't have I know that was a challenge, but I don't have a problem with cussing. And my daughter had to do a paper on this years ago when she was in school, and they were asking, should you be allowed to be listening to music cuss words? And she was like, my mom she's a DJ and she plays music with cuss words all the time. But she knows, I know what's I'm allowed to say and what I'm not. I'm aware that that's not, but censorship, I was never one to censor her from music. Of course, blatant when she's 3 and 4, but as she got older, that's what it is. I mean, that's what's being said in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I encourage cursing in all the music, but I don't encourage censorship either. I feel like if that's what's on your heart, that's what you're trying to say. Then.
Right. Have you ever taken someone under your wing and to become their mentor?
Absolutely. A young lady asked me she emailed me, and she was on the community radio station, and in Minneapolis, and she asked me, this is just one example, this happened in, luckily, thankfully, in every city, but she emailed me and she was just so sweet, but she was so timid, and she was just like, I just want to know if you'll be my mentor and if we can have lunch, and of course I'll treat. So we had a lovely lunch, and of course I treated. But I was like, girl, I'm glad to be able to break bread with you and just talk to you about what I think you should do, or what I think some steps are for you. And she was appreciative, and she listened to a lot of it, and she's still in radio. Actually, she left radio for a while, took my advice, moved, and she was a TV reporter, because that's where her passion was. So I was like, you need to go there, do that. Right. You can always come back. So, and that's what she did. I don't know why she ended up coming back, but word is, I heard recently that she's on the radio back in Minneapolis, which is great, because again, it's a journey. You have to be willing to walk through an open door.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
I want to know if you, I want to know like a misconception about you.
Oh, that I'm stuck up, that I'm bougie, I mean, I am a product of my environment. So I did go to a private Catholic school all my life. I was the only Black girl in my class. No, there was one more. She was in the other class though.
Yeah, they couldn't have y'all together at the same time, huh?
So exactly. So, you know, we were never in stick class together. We changed class after we saw each other. But I mean, so I did grow up, and my mother was very Catholic, very Indian. So we said our rosary together every night at 7:30. We, again, we did everything together as a family. So people don't understand that some of the ways, or I am, it's because of how I grew up, how I was brought up, the way I speak, the way I, that's just, so they get an impression of me that, oh, she thinks she's better than everybody else. She thinks, well, where did I ever say that? I'm just trying to make it out here just like you. That's all. That's it.
I tell people all the time, that's not what came out my mouth. That's what you told yourself.
Don't be discouraged because I'm confident in who I am. That's not to discredit you.
Yeah.
Straight up, man. Straight up. I got one more question I gotta get out for you, man. Like, I wrote this down. I thought about it. I was like, ooh, this is one of them spaceship type questions right here.
Uh-oh.
So Yeah, if you had the opportunity to set up your own fundraiser or benefit, what would the cause be, and who would be the headliner?
Wow, the cause would be justice reform, as we could see from even most recently in the news. How does a 25-year-old beautiful Black man be hunted and shot down while jogging?
That's ridiculous.
And obviously we have seen this over and over and over again. And so I think that's definitely what my fundraiser would be. And the headliner would be everybody on the front lines of this, of speaking out against this. T.I., Killer Mike, Jay-Z. I just, you know how you just get tired of being tired.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. And what gets me the most is these dudes, these two bigots, thought they were going to get away with it. And they did.
They did.
For 2 months.
Until they put the video out bragging and somebody got a hold of it and said, look at this. So technically they were out.
Hey,
yeah.
Don't be surprised if they still get off on this, man. Like I feel
but everybody talking about it and demanding justice, and it made it move a little bit. Mm-hmm. And every time this happens, we try to make it move a little bit, and then we kind of let up. There ain't no letting up. We can't let up. We're dying.
Yeah. And this is important. Why a cousin of mine, he's a former Marine himself. He introduced me into getting into like politics and stuff around about 2002, 2003. And I tell my people all the time, look, don't get into the fight in the race when it's only, these are the two people you choose between. Get into it in the beginning. Find out what this candidate is about. And, encourage, our people to get involved with, judges and, don't look at just who's the president and vice president and that. Let's look at the Congress. Let's look at the Senate. Let's look at all these parts of the government, your local mayors, people that are closest to you. So stuff like this that goes on doesn't happen. We need some DAs and prosecutor changes and stuff like that.
Absolutely. We have to pay attention. We have to pay attention. Yeah. We have to get involved.
Yeah, you can't just pay attention to the president because they have an effect on your life, but not directly like that per se. You see what I'm saying? It takes so they can make life hell for you. But at the same time, the people, the DAs and stuff like that, like you say, this is when they had 2 months of freedom. So they had 2 months to get their stuff together. And it's just, I'm tired of seeing it.
But are you surprised about it though?
No, it's the South.
And that's the problem, man. Like, I'm not even surprised anymore, man. That's the problem. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that. Like straight up, I'm not even surprised anymore.
That's a whole nother show, but it's just it's disgusting. It's despicable. And I cannot believe that it was so blatant. I'm so glad that there was a video. I'm so glad there was a video. Because they could have said whatever they wanted to paint the narrative of whatever they wanted it to be.
Yeah, they're not sorry for what they did. They're sorry that they got caught. That's just the whole.
Yeah, they're sorry the world, other than their constituents and people that think like them. They're mad the world is getting to see this.
Right. That's dang, man. It's just sad because it's just sad.
Back in the 60s when they were hosing Black people with hoses and dogs, it was because that video, the world got to see it and was horrified. So as much as I don't want to see that video, and I didn't want to see the video of him getting gunned down, the fact is that video made them address this and made them called attention to it. For those that didn't even know, people thought it happened recently. When they heard it happened February 23rd, they were shocked. Mm-hmm. That's why we have to keep talking. That's why we have to keep letting them know what's really going on. Right.
And this happened and then they try to use the coronavirus, so we can't do this because of that. So, all right. That's the game they're gonna play. But yeah.
Man, this is Waves of the Bay, episode 27. We're talking with the queen right now. I got a quote from you that I just have to read because you're like the queen of quotes for real. Like, you're uplifting. Like, your voice is calming, yo. Like, I feel like I'm getting a massage right now, just being calmed right now.
But the things that I say, they came from my parents. Things that I've been hearing all my life.
And that's the thing about it, man. When you're raised in positivity, you want to put it back out into the world, that same energy. No one can do you better than you. So why not be the best you can be?
That's right. I mean, trying to copy somebody else, that's gotta be hard. Nobody be you. Nobody else is doing that.
And tiring. It's just too much energy to try to be someone else.
Exactly. My daughter, when she was playing, a lot of people do it now. But when she was coming up in high school, nobody was doing it, certainly not in college. She couldn't decide what Jordans to wear for a game. So she said, I'm gonna wear one of each, a red one and a blue one. I said, I think you should. And it became a thing. By the time she got to the University of Miami for her senior day, all the little kids that showed up had two different color socks and 2 different color shoes. And they called her Spidey because of her jumping ability. And they had all these Spider-Man posters.
She jump out the gym.
She jump out the gym. Yes.
She jump out there.
Whatever it is that you are, that you do that. It's wonderful. Do that.
I like that, man. Yeah, once you told me she was dunking, that's no more questions. We're playing horse.
It's nothing that I heard. It's what I saw.
Yeah.
She did it with ease. Just okay. Well, you know, right, I don't know if I'm gonna talk trash with this one, but you know me. I'm gonna talk trash regardless.
Already.
Yeah,
she used to go to the boys' practice in the morning before school started, and then after school was the girls' practice. So the coach would come pick her up at 5:45 in the morning to go make boys practice first. So she always wanted to play with the boys. So that's where her that ambition and competition came from on that level. She was like, okay, I want to do what everybody can do. So I want to do what they can do. I want to do what they can do.
Too easy for her. She can hoop. She can hoop.
Clearly, man. Straight up, man. You got any more questions for us, Ship?
I have no more questions. I'm just appreciative that royalty has granted me this time and space to, sit down and talk with Queen. I can't even say it's an interview, it's just a conversation.
Indeed.
It's always good speaking with
just
Queen.
Just friends talking.
Queen. You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's why I like the Zoom stuff so much, man. Like I had a Zoom interview the other day with my homie Destrick from Pensacola. He's from the jump. You met him, Ship. But man, we was talking like we was back home, bro.
Yeah.
And we just having a good time and just doing the interview at the same time. So yeah, just like Ship said, I appreciate you taking time out to talk with us, especially tonight. Like we're doing this early because of the whole pandemic and everything. So
yeah. Okay.
What I want, people already know who you are, but I want them to know where they can find you at. So drop your social media information on these cats for me, please.
Okay, it's Anjali Queen B, and Anjali is ANJALI, and then Queen and the letter B, Anjali Queen B.
I can listen to her talk all day long, man.
I'm telling you, man.
Just turn on the radio and just listen.
Thank you.
Queen. I love Queen.
And let me just say what I say at the end of every show, because again, these are things that I grew up with, and it's how I live. Work like you don't need the money. Love like you've never been hurt. And dance like no one's watching.
Here we go.
Peace.
Here we go.
Just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, Anjali, Queen B, right here on Waves of the Bay, 88.5. And the crowd goes wild. Nah, for real, thank you for taking time out to talk with us and just being so open and just being a good person, man. The vibe was great. The energy is great. And yeah, that whole misconception about you, hey, let people know that's all the way false, man. Like, for real, thank you. Thank you for the love today.
Absolutely. Thank you for the love. Thank you.
Queen,
all right, well, we hope you have a great rest of your night. Happy Mother's Day. Enjoy it. And yeah, man, go Chiefs.
Yeah.
All right, Queen B, take care. This is Tone Kapone.
And DJ Spaceship.
And Saturday nights from 10 to midnight, we bring you
Waves of the Bay.
Right here on WMNF 88.5 Tampa.
With the hottest interviews, the hottest music.
You can submit your music for the Tampa Bay Watch segment at wavesofthebay@gmail.com or follow us on all social media at Waves of the Bay.
Every Saturday, 10 to 12. Make sure you come and ride the wave.
Yes, sir.